Welcome back to Wook Plus. I'm Weekend Wook, joined by the full crew tonight. How nice to see this. This is awesome. What's up, guys?
Been a while.
Yeah, man, it's been a
better.
while. We've been all over the place. I was out. He's been touring like he's 23. I don't know what you've been doing, Kev, but I'm happy to see you too. Wait, you were here last time. I see you every week.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
Pretty
Llama,
much.
of
Going to see
course.
Bob Weir tomorrow. I'm excited about that, but it's not cool as getting to see a whole tour.
Well,
Yeah, it was exhausting, but it's been a long time. Well, I mean, I did do Phish West Coast in 21, but that wasn't really the same. This was like a lot of driving and traveling, and I don't know. It was a lot. It's fun as hell, though. I got to tell you.
why
So
did
what
you
was the
end up
best show?
doing it?
Why?
All right, go with Kev's question. That's
Let's
fine.
go with Cat's question.
Yeah, what was the best show?
Oh, the best show. There were two. The second night at Union Pool, actually, the show that we streamed was probably one of the top shows with the two special guest sax players, and just they kind of fell in rhythm that night and just sort of hit it. After night one, first set was a little off, second set they got together, but night two, that place had good energy, good vibes. It was packed night two too, like packed all the way back to the merch table in the back. The place just had a great vibe. They sounded awesome. And then the last show in Philly, well, the last night of the tour, like they did the Woods' Festival as the last show, but the last night in Philly was off the hook. Like that show was just phenomenal. Like they really, of course, it's the last night of tour, so you're kind of like, right, like hitting your stride, and everything's like
Everybody's locked
good,
in.
yeah. And you're like, and Philly was, again, the crowd helps a lot. You know, like it's really fun when you got a packed house and the people are really going and stuff. But you know, there was some cool venues that we played in. We played at a barn at this guy's like, I don't know which one. Like,
Is a barn
acreage.
considered a venue?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it was his house, and actually, it was what we call like it was the first night we had nitrous tanks after the show too. Like they really felt like they'd made it. They were like, "We got a tank! It's our first tank night." So that was fun, but it was really cool. Like this guy has like 36 acres up in Montague, Massachusetts, and beautiful area. And it's actually they own the record store that they played at in Boston the following night, which and the guy is the bass player for Owsley's Owls, which is a Dead cover band that played after Taper's Choice at the record store, which they're really cool. I think they're doing a show in Chicago, a pre-show before one of the Phish shows. So if you're going on tour, check out where they're playing and go check them out. They're fun. They're a good Dead cover band. But that record,
Owls.
Owsley's Owls, yeah.
And they're
The
doing a
record store is
pre-show
really
because we're
cool,
old.
though. If anyone's in Boston, go check out that record store. I think they play every Friday night in the basement, and it's a very heady place. And the basement gets going. Like there's a lot of fun stuff going on down there.
So is this like a permanent move now? Are you like shifting careers into becoming like a merch and film, show filming guy?
I am. As long as they'll have me. I told Alex he's kind of stuck with me now selling merch for them because I had so much fun. Like you meet so many people and you get to like conversate with people and you still get to see the show. You know, he kept being like, you can leave the table and come in and like watch the show. I was like, yeah, I don't feel like, I feel bad leaving the table if anybody needs anything. Like obviously it's not, nobody's buying shit during the show. It's like set break and after the show it gets packed, but it's a lot of fun. And it's really fun talking to people and sharing their experiences. And the band's so new and really their first foray into the East Coast. It was really cool listening to people who this was their first show, or like, I'd seen these guys on your station, like on the YouTube channel, and checked them out. But this is the first time I got to see them. And everybody that would come in and see them and talk were like, these guys really are good. These guys really have something special going. So it was exciting. It was cool to hear and see. So
Yeah, it's
but
cool
yeah,
to
the
get
merch
in
is
the
fun.
ground level like that.
Yeah, very much so. And I can see how, like our good friend Matt Bush, how he got his start doing this. It's addicting. Like you get to have fun selling the merch and meeting people and hanging out with a band, and it's cool. And interacting with fans is always fun. So everybody that I met on the road was super cool, and took a few selfies with people and hung out, and everybody I talked to and met, it was awesome meeting. And hopefully some people are joining the channel. I kept telling everybody, come watch us, come like check out the show, say hi in the chat. So
They should become a new member like Drew did.
Jay Savvy
Yeah,
here was there at night too, so
Yeah,
maybe
night
you met
two was-
him.
was awesome. That was a fun show.
Well,
Fun
if
show.
you
And it
are
was like a
new to the
hometown show for
channel,
them. So.
welcome. We appreciate you coming and checking it out. I do want to stop on what Kev was saying too. Give a shout out to Drew M, our latest member. Welcome. We're going to talk more about it at the end of the night, but we're going to be doing set breaks for fall tour with members only. So if you're interested in having a little set break show and chat with us, you can go and join
Yeah.
members. So that'll be a fun
Come
little thing
join.
we're gonna
It'll be
try.
fun. It'll be a good time. And if anybody's watching in LA, we'll be at the Fonda next was it next Monday, next Tuesday? I think it's next Monday.
Next Monday, the
Next
second.
Monday. Yeah, when they open for the Walkman and then the Tapers Ball show. So come out. We'll hopefully be a little bit restocked on some of the merch. I know we were out of larges. I apologize for everybody that was looking for a large there at the end. We ran out early, but we'll have some shit and have some fun. And I'm going to play one quick clip. This was the highlight of the tour for me, like a totally unscripted moment that I loved, but this was awesome.
I want to dedicate that last little sequence of music to our dear friend Travis, who came out on the road with us. Nobody asked him to, but he made himself indispensable, and he's right there filming the show. He also seen us at the show. Don't give him a hard time if we don't have a large T-shirt. It's our fault, not his. But I personally like to wear them kind of baggy, so you should get an XL. You know?
That was so unexpected and incredible and emotional for me. But those guys are awesome. As good as musicians as they are, and as good as the music is, they're even better human beings and super cool guys. So if you think the music's good, they're equally awesome people. So another reason to love that band and get into them.
Now, how does someone become a member?
Oh, of the channel, you got to hit join. I love, by the way,
Somebody was
T.
asking.
Oh yeah, so if you're on the app, like on your phone, sometimes it's I don't know. There's an issue. So go on a browser on like a computer, and then it'll sit join next to our name, or hit us up. I'll give you a instructions all fair. But I did like T how they were like, no one asked him to come, but we're grateful he did. And I was like, it was kind of like a spontaneous thing. Like they announced a tour, and you were just like at that point, like you had some time off, and you're like, fuck it, I'm doing it.
Yeah, and it was actually, I gotta give like most of the credit to my wife. She was kind of like, we were sitting around talking, and I was trying to figure out how to stream the shows and film them, obviously. But I got this new sweet camera that I wanted to try out, and she was like, "You need to just go." I was like, "Seriously? Like we just got back from a week and a half in Colorado and Dick's and everything, and like, do you think it's okay?" She's like, "You're going." She's like, "I don't even want to like go do it, film it, have fun."
Sounds
And then
like
the
she was
merch
sick
thing,
of you. She's
I
like,
know,
"No."
right? And the merch thing we just kind of fell into because Kev was going to come with me originally. And so when I had emailed them, I was like, "Hey, Kevin and I will be there. We'll work the merch table with you." So I kind of committed to that. And then when Kev didn't come, I was kind of like, "Oh, well, I'll still do merch and somehow try and film them too." So I was able to actually, the venues were kick ass. Everybody on the venues were so cool. They let me set up the camera. Union Pool let us stream that one show, which was phenomenal. Everywhere else, the internet was a little spotty, so I just kind of mixed them where I could. But
When you
I
got
videoed
footage
them.
though, you'll be releasing more cuts and stuff. So
I have we recorded every show, so as soon as I started downloading everything today. It's about 5 terabytes of footage, so I've started downloading it all today, and I'll start editing it and putting it together. And we also have Choice Fest to release still too. So there's a lot of Tapers Choice
gotta
footage.
get to work,
and
man. You gotta stop
stuff.
touring and actually get editing.
I know, before Phish starts too, before we start kicking in the after shows, I got to get busy and do some stuff. So yeah, that's all coming.
It's right around the corner. Well, no, I'm happy you had a good time. That sounds like
I was
blast.
working my butt off. You're right, Jay, and it was awesome to meet you too, dude. That was sweet.
Awesome. All right. So we got some other headlines to talk about, some topics. I thought these things were interesting. Kev, why don't you explain this new policy and what Live Nation is doing?
Speaking of
Because
merch,
I thought it was a good thing, but I don't know. I feel like we're on maybe different ends of this.
Well, it has something to do with Willie Nelson. I'm not quite sure how Willie Nelson's name got attached to it, but apparently they're no longer going to be taking a merch cut from certain venues that are owned by Live Nation. And they're going to offer a stipend, a travel stipend to bands of $1,500,
Now
My
wait,
thing
is
is,
it certain venues owned by Live Nation? Why isn't it every venue owned by Live Nation?
it's only certain venues. I have no idea. It's a certain size venue they're doing it at only. So I guess they figure if you're playing a bigger venue, you can afford the 20%. My thing is, great, they're doing that. They never should have been taking the 20% in the first place. And if
Well,
they
yeah.
paid the bands more, maybe they wouldn't need the $1,500 stipend to travel with.
Well,
You
how much
know?
money are they getting? They're getting the service fees, they're getting the ticket prices, they're already getting enough money. Like, really, you're gonna take merch as well?
And,
Like,
and,
those are,
and $17 Coors Lights. The
I
band doesn't
mean,
see any of that money.
well, no, but that goes to like the venue and the, usually.
Yeah, Live
But Live
Nation owns the
Nation owns the
venue,
venue.
though.
True, that's true. So they're taking it all. I mean,
But
it's
they are
ridiculous.
staffing the merch tables, though, right? That's the thing at the Live Nation venues is it's not like what you just did, where the band's providing their own merch guy. Like their official Live Nation merch, like
Well, only at the bigger venues.
Well,
At
at
these
some
smaller
places.
venues, I think it's the same thing. They'd have a tea there.
that's
And
probably
what
the
I
ones
think-
that they're not charging anymore. They probably
Well,
got
what
called
I-
out on that bullshit.
I think what it sounds more like though is it's like they're almost like renting you the space in their venue to set up your merch stand. It's like kind of where what they're getting at is like, okay, you can set up merch here, but we're taking a cut of it for letting you set up here, which is kind of bullshit. Like they're not doing anything for it, right? Like they don't have no part of it. So it's kind of like, I mean, you would
I've heard
think-
bands like would only sell their merch out of their van after the show because they didn't want to have
well,
to
that's
pay
what I
the
was
20%.
just gonna say. That's like if they started charging the parking lot like shakedown vendors a cut, like, oh, you owe us 18% of whatever you make off your grilled cheese sandwiches and shit after the show.
20% of sales or 20% of profit? Because that's the other thing. What's your margin on your merch? Like you probably aren't making more
Yeah.
than 30-40%, right? With the production and everything. So it's not like they're taking 20% of profits. They're taking
20% of
sales.
if you made $100,
That's fucked
they
up,
want 20.
actually.
Yeah,
That's
Right.
like some Ebenezer Scrooge shit. Okay, you got me. Fuck them.
that's just the rich getting richer, right? Like they're already have enough, but to get a little bit extra on top of it, it's just like it's ridiculous. And I mean, I'm sure the bigger the artist is, like Taylor Swift probably doesn't have a problem cutting 20% out of the merch sales to Live Nation or some shit like that. But
Right. She don't give a shit.
smaller bands with smaller things, it's not cheap to make your merch either, because a lot of that's coming out of your own pocket, and then you got to figure out how much you want to mark it up. That's still where you're
Right. That's
making
what
a
I mean. They might
profit.
only be marking it up 25%.
Right.
And then Live Nation takes 20%. They're sitting there with their dick in their hands and $5 and like,
Because you want to make sure you can sell it to people who can afford to buy a T-shirt at the show or a sticker or a poster or something. But at the same time, you got to make a cutback because you got to make more of it, and you got to make a little bit of
posters
money.
are pretty cheap though to produce on a mass level. Not
Yeah.
they're expensive to commission, but I don't know. I feel like that's printing money for them.
Well,
I've
that
seen
especially
where-
with Phish. I mean, the price of posters that went from 50 to 65 to and they were what 71 at Dick's or 72,
Yeah,
like
it's
some
bullshit.
random price where you're like, why isn't it just 70 or 75? I guess because when it hits 75, if it was already 72, you're not like, oh, $3 more. I guess it's not that big a deal. That's how they screw you. But it's kind of ridiculous, man. Like,
What were you saying, Kev?
I forgot.
Oh, come on. I threw it back to you. You got to be ready with that shit.
Oh, they take 20% of everything, like you're saying. And the thing with the larger venues, though, I guess, is Phish and MSG is going to be our example. It's people from Live Nation or MSG or whoever owns it manning the merch stands. So you're right. Some of that money.
I think that's probably appropriate because they have to pay salaries and insurance and benefits and all that other shit.
but let's
Right.
say do they take from, let's say, like the Water Wheel? Do they take 20% from them as well?
I don't think
'cause,
so.
well, they're a
I
charity.
think it's the official merch booths. I don't know. That's how I interpreted
Right.
it.
Water
but-
Wheel is staffed by Water Wheel people, though. It's volunteers. So they were
Right,
probably
yeah.
exempted from that.
And it's probably because it all does go like donations or whatever is what the shit you buy from them is. But yeah, I mean, at Dick's, it was the same thing. Like all the people working the poster stands were Dick's employees, not Phish employees. So I guess you do have to pay.
Right. And
Well, I
some of the
guess
smaller bands I've seen put up had to raise prices at certain venues. Instead of it being a $35 shirt, it was $45 because they had to make up for that 20%.
Right. And so that's what I'm saying is it all screws the customer because you're still trying to get a cut for yourself to make enough money to make it viable, but then the customer is the one who's the one you're trying
Go
to
to the
protect.
band's website and just buy it direct from them and pay the
That's what
extra $5 to ship it.
That's what they need to start doing, is just having QR codes and being like, go here, QR code on your phone, and we'll ship it to you in 2 days or whatever. Sorry,
And you
can't
don't
get
have to
at the
carry it
show.
around then. You don't have to carry it around all night then.
That's true. And that's the other thing. I was doing that with people buying the records. Is I was like, I know, come back at the end of the show and I'll give it to you. Pay for it now, but I'll hold on to it.
Did you
for
charge
you,
them $5? You charge them $5 to hold?
No, I didn't. I should have though. Right there. There's my cut.
That's my 20% right there.
No.
Wait, I was just gonna ask who are bigger dicks, Ticketmaster or Live Nation, but then I realized isn't Live Nation own Ticketmaster?
Yeah, they're the same.
It's just one big conglomerate of assholes.
One huge cock. It's just one.
It's so shitty.
Grab your
man.
ankles. We're coming over.
Like, that's some shitty shit.
How
I'll
does
tell
that
you.
happen? Right? Like that big of a
How does that
monopoly
happen?
over the industry.
The government red stamped it. Obama red stamp or green, black, whatever stamped it. What color stamp do you do?
Whoa,
Green,
whoa,
white,
whoa! Why are you bringing colors up, Kev?
Red stamp.
Yeah, whatever it was.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
ruh-roh.
There we
But
go.
yeah, it was the Obama administration. You know, when the bill passed that allowed them to do this and not be a quote unquote monopoly.
Yeah, I think it's green lit or red stamp.
Greenlit. That's what it was.
Yeah. Wait, not red
Yeah,
stamp. I don't know what that
green
is. I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about, Kev.
Rubber stamp. Rubber stamp.
Rubber
That's what I
stamp,
was
that's
looking
it.
for. That's-
Rubber stamp, green lit, red light.
So
Yeah, it's bullshit though. I mean, that's harsh. It's not easy. And
Well, see, and that's why they shouldn't have even given the discount, because this was supposed to be a positive story for them. Like this was a PR move. Like, hey, we're not taking away 20%, but then people like us, all we talk about are what assholes they are for doing it in the first place. They were probably
Right.
better off not changing their policy at all, and therefore not being in the right, because people get used to it. You get used to Ticketmaster. We have ticket sales going on, tickets going on sale on Friday for MSG, and everybody's gonna bitch about it again, the prices and the fees and everything, and then 3 days later, everybody's gonna forget about it. And it's like
And then a week
nobody does
before-
anything; it just forgets.
and a week before you'll pay $40 for a ticket on the 28th.
Yep. I will not be doing any bitching this year because I am not going. So I'm not even worried about it.
You'll
It's
be
so nice
bitching
not
from
to have
the
that
couch.
stress.
I'll be bitching
Well,
about the web cost, the web cast cost probably.
Now, where does that money go? Who's getting that money?
The band
Trey.
and Nug split it.
Sue.
It's probably
Yeah, but I would
That-
assume
That's going to Sue directly.
I would assume some of that money's got to go back to Live Nation too, because you're filming from their venues and stuff. So I'm sure they get a kickback of that live stream money. I'm positive they do. Are you kidding? Why wouldn't they? They would have to. They'd be like, of course, if you're live streaming from our venue, pay us.
Yeah,
I never thought about that. I'll have to look into that.
we'll have to find out.
It's
Some bullshit
fascinating.
though.
All right.
That's some
You mentioned
bullshit.
Scrooge earlier.
Oh yeah, well we got Warren Haynes Christmas Jam announced again. I'm
And
glad
all
that's
they did
still
was
happening.
announce it was a save the date thing, like the Phish festival. They didn't announce any of the artists or the ticket on sale. But I tell you what, last year, from what I saw in a couple Facebook government mule groups I'm in, they had issues with the tickets with that. Like scalpers ate them all up. On them, and people were, so hopefully maybe they put something in place. I don't know. Why can't everyone do what Robert Smith did and say, this is what it is, this is how it's going to work, you either do it or you don't? And
It would be
Live
nice
Nation-
if that had started a revolution for that. Did you guys, I don't know if you guys talked about it last week. I tried to call in from the road, but I couldn't get the connection to work. But did you guys talk about what Phish was doing with the new mail order, with how they tried to, they got rid of specifically.
you can't pick floor or stands, right?
Right. And
Yeah,
they tried
I think
to
they did that last year too. Best
'Cause they would-
available was the only option, right?
and they said it was to try and combat the bots, but I don't understand.
Yeah,
how
everybody
that-
hated it though because the poors like me ended up paying more for shit they didn't want. Like they did do this last year because I did like when I did the 20 shows, I was trying to get lawns. It was the only way I could afford it, and I kept getting Pavs, and I was like, what the fuck? Right, like, and I was paying double, but then people like the hoity-toity fans that don't want to be back with us poors were bitching because they kept getting lawns and not getting pavilions. Yeah,
Well,
it's bullshit. I hate it.
It's the same thing at MSG though. Like you put in, and I don't know anybody that gets like 100 level tickets, right? Like everyone gets in the 200s, and if you are in the 100s, you're usually behind the stage. So
Yeah.
I
Who
never.
gets all those tickets?
Well,
you know who does the travel packages and the
Yeah.
VIPs and the platinums and all
Friends
that
and
shit,
family.
and then the bots, and it goes right into the second hand market.
Yeah, it's crazy how that works though. I mean, I don't know the last time I scored mail order, as we once called it. I don't know the last time I scored mail order, like a run of shows, or like, I think I got one for Dick's a Saturday, and that was it on one of them. But
I
I don't know.
got Fare Thee Well was the last time I won a ticket lottery. I won 4 tickets for 4 nights, and I thought,
2015.
yeah,
I
right.
got, I got
Nice.
Hershey Stadium in 2021.
Nice.
But I
That
think
was recent.
everybody
That was
got
more
that.
recent.
It was a Tuesday at a
Right.
stadium.
Like, of course, some of those you do hit, right? You'll hit the random. Like, I think I got the Phoenix show in 21 too, because it was like the random off shows, but you're not getting like an MSG run. Who's getting? I saw like one of our boys, Staynade, David got a 4-night pass in the 200s. But again, like you're in the 200s. I mean, Tim, it's not like you're able to get
Don't
section
do it.
118 or 111 or something on a 4-night run and be, without paying out the ass for it.
Well, I will take this opportunity. I think everybody watching probably knows this, but if you get 200 tickets and you're not familiar with MSG, if you're above like row 12 or 13, it's atrocious. Don't do it. It's hot as fuck. The sound sucks. The view sucks. You don't have the lights. It's not worth the money. Lower 200s are okay, but honestly, if you could get into the 100s, even if you're on the top of the 100s, it's like tenfold better, right? So if you pay 50% more, you're going to have a 500% better experience. Section 119 is, I think, or the equivalent is ideal.
On the other side, yeah, and you
The
might pay a
1,
little
2,
extra
3
for it.
back by the pit, back by the by Crota and the tapers sounds and looks phenomenal. It's just really tight. It's like, it's really tight there. But yeah, that's my advice for MSG is either try to get 100s or floored and stay the fuck away from those upper 200s. Chase Bridge is cool though. I will say that. I dig the Chase Bridge. So much room to dance. You have like direct access to bathrooms and vending. If you're not afraid of heights, you got a really good view of everybody dancing and the lights. I mean, it's cool up there, but
It's cool up there, yeah.
if you're
But
if you're afraid of heights though, man, that Chase Bridge will fuck you up.
yeah, no, I don't. I think in MSG though, I'm willing to pay a little extra for like 119 where we like to be. I don't like being on the floor, especially in the winter, because it's so you got winter gear and you don't know where the fuck to put everything. The 200s, like you said, is kind of and it gets steeper the higher up you go too. Like some of those seats, like you're getting vertigo up there a little bit.
Steeper, stickier,
Yeah,
smellier,
hotter, like
hotter,
wookier. Yeah. And then behind the stage can be fun for like a night or so, but I generally like to be kind of facing stage and in that 100, somewhere in the 100s.
What do people do with winter gear? It's interesting that you asked that. I've heard that people bring in trash bags.
They
And
do.
everybody
There are
throws their gear in there. And I've also heard that these trash bags then get used by people to throw their half-empty beers in because they think it's a trash bag in the middle of the floor.
This
that
is
happens
awesome.
too. You know what?
That's
You know
for
what the
the
solution
wealthy
is?
folks on the floor, by the way.
Let
The
me
poor
give.
just
Let me
keep
give
it in
you.
their seat.
Let me give you my solution to that. Is what I've started doing is I wear tearaway sweats. So like you go in long pants, and then right before game time starts, showtime starts, you just off they go.
Yeah.
Onto the seat they go, and you got your shorts on underneath, and you're ready to go. It is a
Do you
highly
come running
recommended
Do
thing.
you come running onto the floor after you do it?
Yeah. Starting guard, 5'5", 5'7" with the afro. Fletch.
We kept talking about how we're not doing these shows and like we're kind of relieved and all that, but I know when that comes up, I'll have FOMO for that. I'm not gonna have FOMO for the fall tour in the Midwest. Like I'll be actually happy to hang out at Set Break with the members and to do the after shows. I'm looking forward to that. But there's something about the New Year's run. It's just they always fucking kill. They play so good. I mean, it is real. I don't know. Like it is still special to me. I feel like, and I'm not going to be able to swing it this year. It is what it is. But I feel like that is the first time it's really going to hit me where I'm like, fuck, I wish I was there.
Phish fans are better on New Year's than the general population, but New Year's, along with St. Patty's Day, 4th of July, are amateur nights. People who never drink decide to go out and have 6 fucking beers and a shot of Jameson, and they're falling on the floor. You have all these dumbouts around you. I'd rather sit home, be able to watch the show, enjoy it, you know.
But
I don't
that's the
think
good
it's
thing
amateur
about-
night at the venue, though. I feel like
That's-
as soon as you leave the venue, it's amateur night.
That's
But
the great thing about going to the shows is it kind of gives you that space, that safe space to be in,
yeah,
to like enjoy it. And then you get out around 1 o'clock or whatever, and it's kind of already died down in the city, sort of like it's not nearly as crazy, you know, and all you're doing is trying to go get a piece of pizza or something and then go back to the room and crash anyway by that time. So, and you're still not getting home till 3 or 4 in the morning. So, but it's nice. I think that's the safe space. And Tim, to your point, you know, yes, there is FOMO, but I think this far in advance, knowing like I just don't want to deal with it this year and I'm not going, I think it's easier to just kind of put that aside and be
because
like,
there's not even the option. The
Yeah.
FOMO is bad when you're like, oh, maybe I will, maybe I won't, and then you
Right.
finally figure out you can't or won't.
right,
But like when you know ahead of time you're not doing it, then it's not as bad.
right. And it's
Well,
still,
they're
I mean,
also going to
obviously,
announce. They're going to announce the Spring Sphere run probably before New Year's, right, or right after, and they're going to have more festival information coming up next month, which is in a couple of days. So we'll probably get that in like within a week or two. So I think like I'll already be looking to 24 pretty far. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot in 24 coming up, so I think it'll be easier to look past this run. I think.
yeah, I agree. I think that, you know, the sites are kind of, my sites are on anything West Coast in the spring, and then the Sphere, if that happens in April or whenever
You
that's
coming out
gonna
for the
happen.
festival?
I don't think so. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know.
I know,
The way I
it's
feel right
Dover,
now,
Delaware.
I'm a little burnt on the whole East Coast as it is. Like I need some time back home and like relaxing. Maybe by next August I'll be, but I'd rather, again, I don't know. Festivals are tough these days to do, and you know, not having other bands there kind of discourages me a little bit too. Like I love Phish, yes, but like I like to go
Really?
to festivals to hear other bands. Like I enjoy seeing new music and other bands playing. So I may just wait for Dix and do Dix again, because I don't think they're not going to do Dix after the festival. I think that'll still be part of the plan, because there's
do it
no
like Magna, like 15.
yeah.
The best
Yeah.
part about the Phish Festival, though, the Phish Festival, is that it is just Phish. That you're immersed. You're just there for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
And
yeah.
I don't think they're going to do Dix. They aren't under contract to play like they were after Magnaball.
They haven't been under contract at Dix for 10 years, so it hasn't stopped them from doing it. And you know, they did it after Curveball. They were going to do Dix anyway too. I mean, it's not like
But they were under contract then, weren't they? They were under contract till 2021. In the last 2 years, they've done 4 nights because they only signed for that 1 year.
That sounds like some shit a Wook says on lot, and Kev's like, mark it down. I'm gonna report that as fact.
Yeah, I just don't see that not doing Dix. I think that would be a huge, like, especially for all the people, because you're not going to get a lot of West Coasters or West Side people that can get all the way to the East and do Delaware and do that whole thing anyway. So you kind of need to appease other
Hour
half of
from
the
my
country.
house. It's an
you
hour
know,
from my
so-
house. I love it.
Yeah, I feel like the festival though is immune to any of that shit. Like honestly, even if it was in India or whatever, for how long it's been since they did a festival, for everything that happened with Curveball, I think that's gonna be the Mecca, and everybody, not everybody. I mean, like you just said, you're not gonna go,
We
but
should have done a poll. Are you going to go to the festival or not?
all right, I'll set that shit up, Kev. Now that you mentioned it.
And while we're
Look at
doing
that.
that, what did you think, T, about They Love Each Other? I love that Mayer did it, that they chose that, but he didn't do the hopped up version. It was more the slower version.
Well, you know what he did though? He did a very bluesy Mayer version of it. Like he did what we always talked about on the Dead and Co tour, was he made it his own by making it like this bluesy barroom type version of it, and had a little extra sauce on some of the guitar work and some of the little solos in it. So I thought it was really cool the way he kind of separated himself from the Dead and Co. and even the Dead version of it. He kind of made it his own in that. And, with the guys he was playing with, I thought they took it a little bit. And I thought it was really, really cool. Like, for him to do that. And what he said before it, like, they kind of messed around with it and were like, we're doing this and did it. And I thought I really liked it. Like, I'll take a Telio any day of the week, anytime. And
he did 4 songs. The first song, Vultures, I never had heard of before. It was really good. I guess it's his song. The second song, I was neither here nor there. Then he did a Hendrix tune. Think I better wait till tomorrow, maybe. And I was just like, wow, the guys he plays with are fantastic. I never knew. People laugh at me, and I'm like, I walked around with my head in the clouds till this summer when I discovered John Mayer.
Really got into him. But I think he did exactly what you kind of want him to do with that Telio, because there was a minute when I was watching that I thought of you and I talking about the bluesy Mayer and that sort of version of him and how he's done that with a lot of those songs. And he didn't like Althea it, where he kind of made Althea, like we always talked about, his own like he did something different with this Telio and kind of did his own thing with making it that solo version of it. And I thought it was really cool. Like it was still 6.5 minutes or so that it came in at 7 minutes, so it was about the same length that you would usually get a Telio at. So it was good.
I'm a big proponent. Now the only thing I haven't dove into is his big band, which I guess he'll tour with sometimes. So
Mayer's
I'll
big
get there
band?
eventually.
I'm interested to see though, like, how he does now, going on his like solo touring or like whatever he's gonna do. I'd be interested to see his like set lists going forward and possibly checking out a Mayer show. It depends on the venue. Like, I'd still like to catch him at a small room type place, where he's kind of just playing off night or something like that, as opposed to like even like someplace like the Forum or something. But I'd even consider seeing him at a venue like that just to see what other songs he brings into it and where he's like expanded to with his repertoire now after like what he's learned through Dead and Co and everything. And I think it'll be interesting too to see the new iteration of Dead and Co. The Dead Ahead version, or what are they? Is that what they're called now?
Yeah, it's going to be Dead Ahead is what they're
Dead.
calling it.
I'm interested to see how
Who's that? Who's
that
gonna
sounds.
be on that?
That's going to be in Mexico, and it's everybody from
Except Brother Billy.
Dead and Company except Mayer, and then they're adding Don Was, so it says 2 bass players, and then one night Susan and Derek, and the other night is Rick from Goose and Margot Price, maybe.
Wait, so who's playing Jerry?
It's going to be Derek Trucks the one night, and then it's going to be Rick from Goose the other night.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
And that's just the Mexico
if I got
run.
the wrong woman, please forgive me, because I'm
Margot
totally
Price?
blanking one. But I think it's Margot Price who came out with
Yeah.
Bobby at Farm Aid the other day.
Yeah. She does. Yeah, that sounds right.
So it'll be interesting.
That sounds a little suspect, though. I don't know about that lineup.
What? There's Wolf Brothers late night. Lettuce is playing, I believe. It's going to be
Lettuce is
late
playing
night.
like the one night and then doing a lot. Jerry Garcia set, a Garcia set with
and
Lettuce.
then LP,
awesome.
our friend LP,
Joby,
the DJ.
The DJ. Yeah, her set.
Gabi.
See, what is it? I still don't know.
So it'll be interesting to see how that sounds. And
it's really important to get people's names right.
It is. Certain people get very upset when you don't do that.
It could be the end of us if we don't.
It could be the end of us.
But
Except that we've never gotten anyone's name right ever. So it's like,
why start now?
Sorry.
It'll be interesting to see, Kev, if what they do after Mexico, if that continues on, if they plan a small tour or any kind of like residency type shows.
Watch what pops up for Goose's schedule next year.
Yeah, I'm supposed to go to Goose.
There's no way Rick's leaving Goose to fucking tour.
Well, he wouldn't leave. He would do like maybe 15, 20 shows.
Like a summer run or something, right? And then go back, which hey, like Trey did with Fare Thee Well, and it only fucking improved his playing by 1,000% in 2015 for that tour.
That was like 2 runs though.
Well,
you're not going to get something like equivalent of like Dead and Co.
But 6 shows, you could get like 8-show run or something, 8-show
or
tour.
Maybe it's 6 shows with Rick, then it's 6 shows with Derek. It's a kind of thing where different people are on for different parts of the tour.
Fill in. I'm supposed to go see.
They're going to do exactly like they did with Fare Thee Well, where Derek and Rick are the Trey, and then right after that, they'll announce their new sweetheart that is the new mayor,
The
or
new mayor that was
AKA
the
the
new
new
Jerry,
Jerry,
that was
whoever.
the new mayor of the new Trey of the new Jerry.
Right, like
I'm actually supposed to go see Goose tomorrow night at the Wiltern, but
you're
not
not
sure I'm gonna
going
make
to.
it. I don't know. Like
Oh,
I
dude, you gotta
posted that
go
it
see Goose.
it
You
feels
should.
weird going to a show and not working the merch stand now, and like we'll see. I don't know. We'll see.
Goose is fun. I mean, we give them a lot of shit, but they're fun.
I
I
have the
mean,
best
if you got
time
the
seeing
tickets
them.
already.
I do have the tickets. I don't know who. I mean, I have two. I don't know who I'm going with. I may end up going solo, but it is at the Wiltern, which every show at the Wiltern is awesome. So I love that venue. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how I feel.
You
I will
should
never
go, and
throw
then we should
Goose on.
broadcast an after show and just go head to head with Young Ryan and be like, tune in to Wook+ for the top notch Goose content.
Totally. It'll be the first time I've seen them live. I've had tickets to see them like 4 different times.
That's
but I
why
just
you're not sure if you want
never
to
make the
go.
show.
The two times I've seen them live, I loved it. I will never throw on a Goose show and listen to it, but seeing them
No,
live,
but
they're
live
really
is
fun in the
different, though.
moment.
I would definitely go see him live.
Seen a lot of music.
Actually, I guess
lately.
I've seen them 3 times. They did that thing with Trey.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
I
playing
hear
this
you, T,
weekend.
though. I don't judge you, but
They're playing this weekend down in the Ohani Festival with which is Eddie Vedder's big festival down in Dana Point down south.
Oh,
So this
yeah.
is like kind of I don't know, it's like a benefit show before that or some one-off show that they're doing tomorrow night before the weekend
the
show.
thing
So
with Goose,
Well,
though,
they
is
played
like if you
Oakland the
missed
past
it,
2
you're
nights.
not gonna know
Yeah.
what you missed, so you're not
Right.
gonna be upset about it. But if you go, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at how much fun it is and how good it is. It's one of those things that, like, in person, I think is the return is much higher than just listening to them.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't go online and you don't listen to all the Goose fans and you just go and enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know, for what it is, it's a lot of fun.
Which is what I would probably, which I don't really, but yeah, I want to check them out, but coming off a week and a half tour and being exhausted, and then I got Taper's Choice on Monday night again too,
Tacho
so
tired you out.
it did, man. It's not easy touring at 50. I'll tell you, it takes a little bit out of you.
Yeah.
So our other Dead and Company news is O'Teal dropped his Lovely View of Heaven LP, which was recorded at that place in Iceland everyone's been going up to. Has Jason Crosby on it. Blanking on who else, but I know he sat in with them. All ballads. And they kept a lid on what the songs were. Some of the interesting one, Days Between, So Many Roads, Believe It or Not, and Mission in the Rain. The others are Stella, High Time, and China Doll. And
aren't you a big fan of Days Between?
Oh my God. It's really fantastic. They give it the space to breathe. The clock's in at over 10 minutes. It isn't rushed. They let it, blossom. But I mean, Believe It or Not was one of those lost Jerry tunes that I always wanted to pop back up after 88, and it never did. So really fantastic. If you haven't checked it out, you can find it on YouTube or wherever else you consume your music.
I think it's cool that he did that he put together like that
Right.
LP of kind of his version again. Like it'd be like if Mayer released his like an album of his songs from Dead and Co type things, and
Right.
O'Teal's
Now,
got such a great tone to those and a voice to it that it's really cool.
Did either of you hear the Lithium Friend of the Devil mashup that O'Teal and Friends did the other night?
No.
Oh my God, they're playing Lithium and they're like, I lit out from Reno. I was trailed by 20 hounds, and they play Lithium and they sing the lyric, and it's fantastic. Hats off to Jason Crosby again. He takes the lead on that.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah, fun stuff. Now, 1225 drummers. This is not Dead related because none of the Dead's drummers are on there.
No, I was gonna ask if you were upset that Mickey missed it. Yeah, so somebody tagged us on X or whatever right before this show. I happened to be writing the set list for tonight, and they were like, "Hey, I think Stuart Copeland tweeted about it, and then somebody copied us and was like, "Hey, where's Fishman?" And like that's always like a funny, not a funny, but like always like a something that's argued is if Phish belongs on these lists. I personally, and I think most Phish fans, would agree that he should be somewhere on the list, but it doesn't offend me as much, right? But it did get me thinking about this list. There's some crazy omissions on here. I don't know. How do you want to do this? You want me to
Well, let's call
share
out
it?
Stubblefield. Yeah, show the list, but no Stubblefield, Clyde Stubblefield, and no Bernard Purdy, which had to be two of the biggest drummers of the 70s
Well,
and
there's
80s.
more than that, but yeah. Well, why don't I
mean,
read
they
the
jumped out
list?
to me. Jeff
See the list.
Porcaro from Poco and lots of studio sessions.
All
Where's
right,
he?
why don't I read the list, and then we'll talk about it as we get out of it. Actually, should I share the list?
Yeah, can you share it?
Yeah, let me figure out how to share it. I got to
We're
move.
we're
the
visual
studio.
learners.
Hold on. Jesus Christ, Kev, I'm working. Sorry. Oh man, it's been a long week. I'm recovering from COVID part 2. Fucked me up. Can you see my screen?
I'm gonna try to do something here if it happens. We got a new friend.
Oh shit! What the fuck happened? My shit froze.
Okay,
That's funny.
whoa.
That's a great look.
Whoa!
Oh no,
There.
there it is.
Oh wait, I gotta take this off. There we are. All right, is that good?
Say hi.
Ooh, what was Russell and Han's big announcement over there?
You gotta come over.
I don't know, but there's no way I'm clicking on that shit.
Is that a new cat? A kitten?
Yes, that's Francis Bean. Speaking of Nirvana,
Oh, how's it get along with the other cat?
they haven't met yet. We've kept them
Oh.
separated.
Oh
So
boy, territorial issues.
I'm gonna be divisive and piss people off right off the bat, but I don't think Questlove should be in the top 25. I mean, he's a really good drummer, but top 25 of all time.
Of all time, yeah.
Of all time.
That's a very
fucked up.
it's been a long time.
modern.
Now, do you know
take.
JoJo Mayer? Because I ain't never heard of JoJo Mayer before.
I do, and he does a lot. He sounds the cool thing about JoJo, and I know him through like drum camps and like symposiums and like teaching shit. Is he sounds like what other artists do with computers, but he's a human. Like he does that like EDM and like like that real fast, scatty, fun, like crazy drumming. He sounds like a fucking machine. But as far as like influential and best drummers, I don't know. I feel like that's maybe just trying to look cool, like a hipster. Like I'm gonna throw him on my list so I sound really, intelligent.
I think you could have put like Bill Bruford there if he isn't on here.
Yeah, Bruford would have been a great one.
Steve Gadd.
Yes. Gadd's a good call. I can't argue with Mr. Gadd. He's come up with some of the most well-known and like solid pocket grooves of like pretty much all time. He's been on so many hit records and a great session drummer. I agree with that one. Yeah, Danny Carey. I can't even begin to describe the complicated patterns and playing he does. He's just fucking on a whole different level. I kind of agree with that. Honestly, he should probably be a little higher.
And terrifying with Tool.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Tony Williams, sure. But see, this is I agree, but then this is where Stubblefield and Purdy and some of those other drummers don't make it. It's just weird,
Why pick him of all the ones that didn't make it?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's keep going. Carter Buford, love Carter Buford. Kind of a shock. See, this is where I started turning on this list. I was like, or like getting behind this list. I was like, all right, I see what you're doing there. I think he's one of the most underrated drummers ever.
Agreed.
Phenomenal drummer. Honestly, better than Fishman. So
I agree, and I think part of the problem is, and I don't want to say this in like a bad way because I like Dave Matthews. I know there's a lot of hate for him, but he's kind of buried with Dave Matthews, right? Like, if you don't know Dave, you don't like. There's not a lot of outside love for him necessarily, because people don't know how awesome he is unless you know Dave or go see Dave or follow Dave. He's kind of a forgotten person back there, but he is fucking incredible.
Yeah, he plays the best way I can describe the way he plays too is he plays the rest and the silence as precisely and cleanly and intently as he plays every beat. So his patterns are just phenomenal. Mama Girl, Moma Girl, I agree. You listen to JoJo, you can hear the technicality in his playing. I just felt like it was more of like a hipster move to throw him in, but so anyway, I think the list isn't horrible so far. And this is, and like, yeah, 2019 and 18, I think is where I really agree with it. Kev, what do you agree with this, right?
Yeah, Terry Bozzio definitely deserves to be on there. And if you only know Missing Persons from Destination Unknown, check them out. I mean, it was a fantastic band. I think he got kicked out of Zappa's band because he was a partier, and Zappa didn't dig the partiers. But the song "The Black Page," which apparently is the most complicated drum thing you could ever learn to play, he was the master of.
Wait, what is the most complicated?
It's called "The Black Page." And
Oh.
like Zappa just wrote something out that he said no one could ever play, and Bozzio played it.
Yeah, I believe it. Fucking phenomenal. And then also in that same
Another Zappa
breath,
guy.
yeah, another Zappa guy, Vinny.
Caliuto.
Yeah, there's one track off of Joe's Garage. Fuck that he played. It's just I tried learning it a couple of years ago. Like really tried, like wrote it out and I couldn't even come close. Like it was I can't remember the name of the track, but it fucking phenomenal player. Really complicated. Another one of those artists that just makes really hard shit sound really easy. Because you listen and you're like, I could do that. And then you go to work it out and you're like, yeah, I'm never gonna be able to do that.
Sheila E.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, influential, I think, is doing a lot of heavy lifting here. I mean, very, very talented. But
Does she go ahead of Carter Beauford? Like really? Like that's where
Yeah.
it kind of get like I don't know.
She broke ground. I think.
Yes,
I think
well,
it's
see,
the
that's the
groundbreaking
question, though.
thing.
It's how much do you put into the pure skill and how much you put into
Right.
influential? Because
right.
the end of
Right.
this list, spoiler alert, number one, Kevin and I disagreed with. And my argument why number one was number one wasn't because of chops and just technical prowess. It was because influential, like
Right.
the influence that. And I think that's the same thing with Sheila, I think. But like, yeah, anyway.
How many female drummers can you think of? Not like including like a Nikki Gillespie who's playing now, who played with Beyonce and plays with Mike Dillon now. I mean, there aren't many. Karen Carpenter, made
Carpenter, I was just gonna say
drums.
Karen Carpenter should probably be in there.
Is she be alive if they had to let her keep playing drums?
Yeah. That little girl that covers David Grohl. You ever see her on YouTube? Fucking super talented.
No, she
was,
definitely deserves to be there. She was a powerhouse.
Who was Lenny Kravitz's drummer for a while? That chick. Who was that? That woman. Chick, sorry.
I don't know.
We only had a producer.
Didn't Kid Rock have a female drummer too?
I don't know.
Like a black woman? I forget.
Yeah, man, Kid Rock. Come on.
Anyway,
there you go. Elvin Jones,
great jazz drummer. That's hard too to compare. See, this one's hard for me. I don't think Charlie Watts should be this high up, personally. I think if you're comparing Elvin Jones and Charlie Watts, I think Elvin Jones is a way better drummer than Charlie Watts. But it's at the same time, it's really hard to compare jazz and rock. I feel like.
Yeah, and Charlie
Watts,
had some
jazz chops.
Charlie made the bed that they all laid in. I mean, that guy was the Stones. Like that guy was incredible.
Talk about a funky smell, that bed.
Maybe I don't know. I haven't heard like a lot of his non-Stones playing, but I mean I feel like he's a great rock drummer. I just don't know if he's in the 15 of all time.
I would almost, I mean, I think he is. That's some fucking, he's awesome.
Okay. I gotta defend myself though. All I'm saying is Elvin Jones versus Charlie Watts should not be 16.
Charlie
15.
Watts would probably say Elvin Jones should come before.
Should be ahead
Right.
of him.
Charlie Watts should
probably.
be like 20. Elvin Jones should be in the top 10. Right? Let's say we could agree they're both on the same list, but I don't think Charlie Watts should be ahead of Elvin.
I would leave Charlie at 15, but I would move Elvin higher. Is what you could do.
Right.
Maybe,
And
but,
so
yeah.
then this is where you start to get some names that you're like, okay, I don't know about this.
I mean, if you were going to put a drummer that was funk, which I guess is where they go with Chad Smith, why don't you have Zigaboo from the Meters in there? He created that whole genre, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think Chad Smith looks a lot like Will Ferrell. That's
He
the
totally
first thing
does.
you know.
Totally does. That skit they did on whatever late night show where they came out together was fucking still cracks me up because they look like they could easily be twins.
Yeah. I think he's a really great drummer. I just think he's way
Too high.
too high for this. I wouldn't even have
Although I
been
will
upset if
say-
he cracked the top. I think he's better than Questlove, probably.
I will say, yeah, definitely. And I will say early Chili Peppers, like when they, before they really went mainstream, it got like early Chili Peppers was like he really had an influence in that shit. Like that was some good shit. But again,
Hollywood.
Fight Like a Brave.
Carl Palmer. Okay.
I was doing that to accentuate the point that they covered Africa as Hollywood. They covered a meter song.
Who was it?
All right, Carl Palmer's
Chili Peppers
fantastic.
did?
If you don't like Emerson, Lake and Palmer, you can just find the door. They were just
I'm
were
okay with this
excess.
placement.
Yeah.
They were 70s excess. Oh,
So-
what is that? Now, is that guy really
At
good?
12. At 12, really? Like he could have been like 24.
He could have been top 50.
Yeah.
I want to give. I'm going to play devil's advocate because I was going to pile on with you guys and be like, fuck Travis Barker. But for this type of music, he is the best. For that high energy punk, really fast shredding drumming.
I don't know. I feel like Kev could give us some better punk drummers than fucking Travis. No offense, because that guy's got a great first name, but still.
No, I mean, he is. I think a lot of like really well-respected drummers would agree that he is one of the best high energy in that genre.
What
But
about
he's very limited to that genre.
what about the Foo Fighters guy? Is he on here? Taylor Hawkins?
No, but
Yeah, why is
Mitch.
the guy from Blink 182 on there and not that guy? That guy was a fantastic drummer.
Mitch Mitchell. There we go.
Mitch Mitchell's fucking fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ringo, I think so. Influential. I mean, some of his fills and patterns are still mimicked by dozens, thousands of people today. There's
He's
certain
what you
fills and
want in a
certain-
drummer. He showed up, he played the beat, he said thank you, took his check, and went home. He's what
Now
you
here's the
want.
thing. Well,
No,
I
but
will
he
say
did more
that-
than that, though.
I will say
Ba-dum-bum.
Charlie Watts should be higher than Ringo Starr, though. I will say
No.
that for sure. Yeah.
No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. For sure.
I personally disagree 100%. I
That's
think
fine.
I think Ringo was a very musical drummer, and I think his contributions to the songs don't get enough credit. I mean, what he
I
did.
don't think they. I think they get a fine amount.
My oldest says this is a
Yeah.
bullshit
I
list.
mean, he does get a lot of fucking credit, but Phil
Phil?
Collins, yeah, he's a fucking great drummer.
Look at that beard. That's a tasty
Badass
Phil
fusion
picture right
drummer,
there.
great voice, sexy beard. Who doesn't like Phil Collins?
Mm.
You don't like Phil?
I like
Jeff
Phil
doesn't
Collins. I just, whenever I see Phil Collins, I can't help but think of American Psycho. That's where my mind automatically goes. The studio thing, Hey, there's
80s
Lama.
Phil Collins.
Lama, what do you think about Phil Collins? Love him, right?
As a drummer.
And as a human being.
Yeah. And as
great.
a beard holder.
I mean, that is a top-notch beard.
Okay, so here is where I think influence starts to really do a lot of lifting. Because I love Dave Grohl. I think he's a really good drummer. But a lot of these names we've said so far, I think Dave would tell you he's not a better drummer than most of the people we just said. But there's a whole generation of kids that bought drum sets in the 90s that the first songs they played were Nirvana, and the reason they became drummers were because of Dave Grohl. So if you say most influential drummers, I think this is appropriate. If you were going strictly on best drummers, I think this is kind of offensive and outlandish, to be honest.
I would agree. Like he doesn't even play the drums anymore.
I know. He's
Like,
a
you're
guitar
talking-
player.
He's
The
got
picture
a
he's
picture.
playing guitar. They have a picture of him playing the guitar.
The guitar.
You can't blame the guy for being a talented motherfucker, though.
No, he's awesome. He's super talented. I agree, but I don't know. I mean, again, to your point, I think it's the influence. But even 8 is really high considering who isn't on here and where other people are on this list. So.
You know what I like about him? I heard an interview with him, and he was talking about how he came up with "Smells Like Teen Spirit's" drum part, which is like one of the most iconic drum fills, where it's like and he was like, "Yeah, I was just chilling, listening to Earth, Wind, and Fire," and it's like that standard like jazz, not jazz, but like that like
Disco.
funk, like bop, bop, bop.
Disco.
And he basically just took Earth, Wind, and Fire and meshed it with grunge and turned it into one of the most iconic drum
With the
parts ever.
Pixies. With the Pixies. They totally ripped the Pixies off for that one.
Yeah. Gene Krupa, I think that is hard to argue. I think
who
that
is
is
he?
a top 10 drummer for sure.
For sure.
I love watching old videos of Krupa and Buddy Rich. And their playing is just fucking phenomenal. Stuart Copeland, huge fan, love his playing. He's one of the most distinct sounds. Oh, it looks like distinctive. Yeah, you could pick him out of a lineup, audio wise, probably easier than any of these drummers. He's super distinctive.
And he's the last living drummer on the list.
Yeah, that's how this all started.
Isn't Dave Grohl alive?
No, I'm
Well,
saying
no,
the top 5
like
are
coming
all
up.
Oh, okay.
Ginger Baker. We talked about that last week. How much I love Ginger Baker.
Ginger Baker's Air
Fucking-
Force.
Huge asshole, great drummer.
Huge asshole.
Buddy Rich, also huge asshole, great drummer. I'm starting to see a theme here.
Seeing a trend.
Yeah, there's some crazy ass interviews with him too, talking about
Where's
how, like
Mike
nobody will
Clark?
ever be as good as he is and shit.
Where's
Yeah.
Mike Clark at? From Herbie Hancock's band. I mean, he was a fantastic drummer.
There was some other drummers on here that played with Herbie Hancock. I think.
Definitely
I
not
think
the guy
Vinny-
from Blink 182.
No, I think
How is
Vinny's
Travis
played
Barker
with Herbie
above
Hancock
Chad
before.
Smith.
Yeah. Anyway,
Why is
let's wrap
Carter
this up.
Buford so low on this? What is happening?
Yeah, that's what we talked about. He's way back there. It's insane.
This is so far away.
I
from
think
the
Carter
Taker's
Buford's better than
choice.
David Grohl chops wise, but not influence wise.
Right, because like we said, he's buried with Dave, so you don't get the influence that you would get from like a, Nirvana, who influenced a generation of kids, as you said.
Yeah, and same thing with Keith Moon. His influence, I think, is doing a lot. I mean, all of them are great drummers. I'm not denying it, but I think it's the influence that's really holding him up this high up. He's fucking crazy though.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen somebody play as hard as him.
Hmm.
And then Neil
There
Peart,
you go.
he's
deserves it.
probably the all-out best, like technical drummer, well-known technical drummer. I mean, fucking phenomenal, right?
And
I
he
think
wrote
that-
all the lyrics.
And it's a great spot for him, like too. I think that's perfect. Like I think that one actually makes sense.
Yeah.
Like that's good.
And then Bonham, I think. So this is where Kevin and I disagreed a little bit. I think this is appropriate, but Kevin was like, "Fuck Bonham," and Eric Clapton.
Kevin
I
is
did not say fuck bottom. I just don't see him as the number one. I mean, because if you go back, there's one guy I never heard of in the top 10, like number 7, I think. And I'm like, so he wasn't influential, you know? I just
Gene
think,
Krupa?
Chad's never heard of him. He doesn't count.
yeah, I
You talking
don't
about
know
Gene
Gene
Krupa?
Krupa.
Literally every other drummer on this list would probably credit Krupa as one of the reasons they became a drummer.
Okay, so he's a musician's musician.
Yeah, he's like one of the very first big band, awesome fucking drummers.
You never took like a history of jazz class in college or anything, Kev? Come on.
I've never
Music
heard the name. No, I mean,
appreciation.
I feel like I'm well versed in that. I've never heard the name though.
He had the GK on his drum set in the badge, like the shield. He had his
Okay.
own bands. Like he wasn't even on other bands. Like he had his band, like the Gene Krupa band.
Okay. I'm missing who I'm missing is Bill Bruford. I'm missing Jeff Piccaro. I'm missing Clyde Stubblefield, Bernard Purdy, and Billy Cobham. Off
Yeah,
this
the Purdy
list. I think
Shuffle. How
it's
do you not
complete
have a guy
garbage.
that has a beat named after him? Right?
On there, right? Like in influence and in talent, what? Like, yeah, that's fucked up.
And you said Piccaro,
Yeah, Jeff Piccaro. I mean,
Toto.
besides Poco, besides Toto, he was on all kinds of sessions in the 70s. That whole Southern California soft
wasn't
rock
he
thing
with
was him.
Michael Jackson? The whole Thriller and all those.
Yeah, he probably was. I mean, he was in with Quincy Jones, so
He
So who
probably
made-
was.
I love the confidence, pause, and then backpedal.
Who made this
Welcome to
list?
Wook+live.
Where did this list come from of drummers? Who made this?
I don't
It
know.
looks like
Bola
Bola.
Vip.
Vip.
Bola
The hell
I
is
don't-
that?
Somebody tagged us. I don't know.
I see.
Bola
Okay.
VIP.
Because I'm just trying to figure out where, who, what. Yeah.
Stuart Copeland originally tweeted it out, and then someone retweeted it and tagged us and the woman who's over on Sirius on the Phish channel and a couple other people.
I think
Gotcha.
though, as far as list goes, like this is way better than any list Rolling Stones would ever put together. Right? Like there are a couple of suspect things here. There's some adjustments, but like I feel like overall when you see these lists, they're usually shit, and this one's not terrible. Maybe, I don't know.
It's
Maybe.
not terrible. It's serviceable.
It's serviceable.
It's a serviceable list.
That was a fun little detour.
It
Using
was.
somebody
fun.
else's
All right,
content
MSG
to get us
tickets
through the
suck.
show.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
you
but
guys
these
still got
tickets
more to
suck.
go.
We don't have to, Llama. You missed 80% of the show. What the
Yeah,
fuck do you
right. He
think
just comes
about?
back. He's like, "Oh, we're still going." I thought when I came back, it'd be just time to wrap up, and I could say goodbye and leave.
I came in for the big goodbye.
I say MSG tickets are underpriced, and that if they charged more, it would get rid of the bots because it would max out the market.
Yeah.
So everything should just be platinum priced.
Probably. And then when they can't sell them and it's a month before, you start dropping the prices. Like a Dutch auction.
They should do Dutch auctions for tickets. That would be awesome. That would be the way to go.
That's
For
your,
sure.
I
you
think
know,
you
your
have
price
to-
point.
I think you should
Yeah.
get quizzed when you go to log in. You have to name 3 songs. And like, you know the game we play where like finish or name the song in 1 second clips? You have to get like 5 out of 8 or something to be able to get in line.
I think it kind of works like a Dutch auction already, though, Kev, because people that pay a lot at the beginning and buy them quickly, like you said, like you wait till a week before or something, and you can start buying them for half price, much lower prices before, except for the New Year's Eve show. But the other shows of the run you can usually get for pretty
But
cheap, especially like
even
night one.
last, it seemed like last New Year's there were a lot of tickets available. I didn't hear of anybody getting shut out.
Well,
Yeah, I
if you
didn't-
want to get in, you can get in, but it did sell out. There's a difference, right? But where there's a will, there's a way. I feel like if you just were rich and just stopped being poor, you could just buy a travel package and none of this would be an issue.
Stop being
Like,
poor.
Wow. Damn it. Damn
and then
it.
if
That
you
was-
ever figure that out, let me know how to, stop being poor. and
Well, you
I'll,
know, and what I've noticed every year is a lot of the suites are always empty. You know,
Yeah.
like why don't they do something about like what can you just drop the price on those, or like get 10 people together and pay for a suite and go up there and do it, because a lot of them are dark. Like there's a lot of them that are dark throughout that run, and it's kind
I
of a
want the
shame.
I wanted
suite
to do that for a
dicks.
long time. I don't have
want the
enough wealthy
suite
friends
dicks.
though.
I
On
think
the
a Wook
side
suite would be
there,
great.
A Wook suite, Wook plus suite.
Yeah, us, some of the members, some of our
Yeah, so
fans.
talking about great member benefits.
Right?
That'd be sick as hell.
For the simple donation for the titanium subscription.
We're gonna have a new platinum tier of membership.
Donations for New Year's box.
Yeah. Actually, that's a good transition to the fall tour coverage. I just wanted to remind it again. Well, obviously, we're going to be doing recaps 15 minutes after encore for what is it, 8 shows, 3, 2, and 3 every show. But then also select shows, maybe all the shows. We'll see how it works out. We're going to be doing member only streams for set break, kind of just bullshit.
At least the first
talk
night.
about the first set, hang out. So if you want to get in on that, join, become a channel member. We have other perks. We're still developing it. We're adding perks all the time, but that's going to be a fun one that I'm looking forward to trying out. I'm looking forward to this tour. It's kind of snuck up on me. I didn't realize that it was like a week away, but now that it's, you know how I realized that Kev tweeted about it. I was like, oh shit, thanks, Kevin.
I know. I wasn't really.
Yeah, it's like 8 to 10 days.
Not thinking
Yeah.
about it until we hit October. Then I was going to start realizing it was close. But as long as we're still in September, I felt like it's still a little ways away.
Next
I have a
Wednesday we'll be
question.
doing our pre-tour. wook+live probably. We'll probably be all giddy with excitement that they're playing in 2 days. So
Yeah.
What's up, Llama? What's your question?
So if you're not on Twitter, where do you find Wook Plus? Like all this information.
well, on
YouTube.
Facebook we have a page.
Oh,
On
Jesus.
Blue Sky and Instagram.
Yes,
and,
we are on
Threads.
Instagram. Yeah.
and Threads and YouTube.
How's life post Twitter, Llama?
Peaceful.
Yeah, you seem very like centered.
Yeah.
Jealous.
That's good. That's good. I will say one more thing about tour was like getting to go to Nectar's was pretty cool. Like the show there was fun, but actually getting to go into like that bar and that kind of hollowed space is kind of a fun little, that was a fun trip. And apparently it's changed. I think Julie Moran, is that her name? She was at the show and she was telling the guys that the stage used to be along like the wall and it was like a straight line, and that's why Phish learned to play like as a row, because that was how they would set up. And since then they've kind of remodeled the bar and put the stage back, but it was a lot nicer than I thought it was going to. It's probably the nicest bar of the tour. Like I was surprised at how nice it was in there. And it's like 2 areas. There's like it's kind of restauranty, like there's a bar in the stage area and then another like kind of overflow room next to it. But I was shocked. It was gorgeous. It was a really nice place. Burlington in general, I was a little on the fence about. Like there's a lot of more bums
What's
there than I
wrong?
was
What
expecting.
could possibly be wrong with Burlington?
He's
a lot
about
more-
to talk about the Wooks.
There was a lot of people living in tents in a lot of like fronts of churches and shit. And even right outside of the bar, there was like this whole congregation of like bums, and somebody like started fighting H-bong and security had to go out and like pull them away. Like they were like attacking the inflatable banana. Like it was weird. It was weird, but Nectar's itself was fucking very
Was
cool.
there
Like,
nitrous?
very hollowed space. No nitrous. No nitrous outside of there.
Do
think we're
any
gonna
of us know
call
about
it.
Discord? Do any of us know how to run a Discord?
No. See you next
Sure.
time.
That's one way to end the show. And cut the black.
Right. We could play video games and talk.
We'll set up a Discord at some point.
That's what we
Maybe for fall tour. We'll fuck Brad.
Fuck Brad Discord.